Now, this is the only part right by the Sea of Galilee where there is a mount, there is a slope on the side, and there's a plain underneath. And so this could very well be the very place where Jesus preached the Sermon on the Mount. We heard this morning Luke chapter 6, which is the Sermon on the Plain. And then this afternoon we heard Matthew chapter 5, which is the Sermon on the Mount. It's kind of like contradicting each other, right? But speaking about the very same event in the life of the Lord, one gospel writer sees it as the Sermon on the Mount, and the other gospel writer sees it as the Sermon on the Plain. Now, the Lord bless you. You just came here all the way from Cebu. This is a place, we are actually right now on a mountain. We are on a mountain, and right on this side, there is a slope, and then below us is the plain. Below us, this is the only mountain right by the Sea of Galilee that it is definitely a mount, and then a slope, and then a plain. If you notice, when we were in the bus, most of the hills are rolling hills. It is not definitely a mountain with a slope and a plain. And so that's why they chose this place as the place of Mount Beatitude, the place where Jesus preached the Sermon on the Mount, because this is the only place that is definitely a mountain with a slope and then the plain. Now tell me, with thousands of people following the Lord, where do you think he would be standing to address the crowd? Would he be standing on the mountain and address the crowd, or would he be on the plain? Okay, I love it. He would have been on the plain. He would have been on the plain because just like now, you are all sitting on the slope. He would have addressed the crowd from the plain. And all the crowd would be sitting on the slope. And also the sound rises. And also it would be like a regular theater. It's a natural theater. And so the people would be sitting on the slope, and we have tried it a number of times with 5 buses. We asked all the people to kind of like spread around, and the guide would read the Sermon on the Mount without a microphone, and all of us heard him. And so Jesus, this could have very well be the place. Jesus would have addressed the crowd right from the plain, especially during this time of the day. At this time of the day, there's a breeze. And so the sound is being carried right from the Sea of Galilee. There's a breeze. And so everybody could hear him when he would preach at this area. Now, we're going to go there now and look at the place where Jesus preached, okay? So you see the plain? This is where all the bananas are. And we are actually on the mountain. And on the side here, you can see the slope. And so if some of you had said that Jesus would have addressed the crowd from the mountain, nobody would be able to hear him. If all the crowd would be on the plain right now, and Jesus would address the crowd on the plain, then he would not be heard. And yet, if somebody is down there at the bottom, and then everybody would be sitting on the slope, we would be able to hear him. In fact, I would be able to hear him even from here. And so you can see here that when Matthew says it's the Sermon on the Mount, and Luke says it's a Sermon on the Plain, you can see that there is a distinct thing, and yet it's about the same thing about the life in the Lord. When he preached the Sermon on the Mount, there's a mountain and the plain itself. Now the church that we're going to be visiting today is actually called this Church of Mount Beatitudes. And it is shaped like an octagon again. The dome is octagonal, number 8. What is number 8? The sign of the resurrection. The building of this church actually came from Mussolini, the Italian dictator. And so when we go inside, on the dome itself, close to the dome, we have the 8 Beatitudes in Latin. And then at the floor, you would see a mosaic floor that has the 3 theological virtues. What are there?
Faith, hope, and charity.
And the 4 cardinal virtues. J. J. Justice. P.
Perseverance.
Perseverance.
Patience.
P.
Prudence.
F.
Fortitude.
T.
Temperance.
The temperance. Okay? So those are, you will see it on the floor. The 3 theological virtues which would be in our relationship with God. And the cardinal virtues which would be in our relationships with our fellow human being. That we may exercise justice, prudence, temperance, and fortitude. Okay? Now, Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth. What does the salt do?
Bring out the flavor.
It brings out a good flavor, and also what is it? What does it do? It's a preservative. It's good to always apply to our own lives what Jesus says. When Jesus says to you, you are the salt of the earth. What does that mean? That when you are in contact with people, that you bring out the best in the other person. No matter how obnoxious the person is, always find something good in a person and bring out always the best in another person. And it's also, the salt is also a preservative. There is something in our culture that causes decay of relationship. What is it? Sama ng loob. I would say gossip. Right? Speaking bad against another person. When somebody says something bad against another person, to be the salt of the earth means to say you stop it. You don't tell it to him. Say it to him directly. If you have anything against him, say it directly to him, or else you would be affected by it.